people doing ordinary things, or ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Started late with the program, 12 minutes into the hour. So sincere apologies, it was beyond our own control. But tonight we shall just be looking at those extraordinary people who have taken the length, who have broken the barriers, jumped the hurdles to get to a profession probably that is sometimes reserved for a particular people, or people who have done extraordinary things. Things, for example, like this man who went to Hajj, went to Mecca 77 times in his life. And he's not from Saudi Arabia or wherever, he's from Uganda 77 times. I mean, in Nigeria, quite often what they do is when you hear someone called Al Hajj, it means they have gone to Hajj, for example, more than once. If you just go once, it is Hajj. But once you come back and you've gone there second time, third time, then they are called Al Hajj. So I don't know what you would call this person. 77 times he's gone for Hajj. But think about women, for example. Well, the revolution to get women driving in the first instance, in some countries, it's just even taking shape. In countries like Saudi Arabia, it's only now that women have been allowed to start driving a normal car. But what about a woman now breaking the barrier and not just driving a car, but driving a bus carrying up to 62 passengers? How about a woman now breaking even the barriers, crossing not just from the bus, but going into the train and being able to drive the train, probably flying a plane? These were all sort of serious development and serious steps that were taken. But let me tell you this. How about if this woman was Ugandan or African for that matter? I think that even adds the stakes to the entire process. Tonight, we shall be talking about these people who have done extraordinary things in their lives, and probably to get us kick-started, taking it beyond just the driving, but now because of the years of experience in that particular field, getting recognized and beginning to mentor other drivers. That is something that is not usual. Let's first watch this clip and then we'll open tonight's conversation. Isma, please.
N69, okay. This is line of road to Warfan store. We just go off from there. Keep in this lane, please. We're going the third exit. Keep going. I think it's gonna be the fourth. Keep going like the black car. Yes, then we get off there. What exit is that? Is it the fourth or the it's the fourth, yeah? Okay. I'm better off with my fingers that keep going. Okay. Straight on with turning left. But you're not going into the bus lane. Keep like the silver car, we keep in this lane, because that one is gonna put you into the bus lane. And we're not having a bus, then you keep in that lane. So when I tell you, like, if you miss that turn and you forget, you go walk turn, you come up from the top, it brings you on this road still. Keep in this lane and we're slightly getting off. Yes, follow this beauty BMW. I'm telling you, I don't know where these people get money from. Credit, but then that's another headache. Oh my God, this thing is growing. Eat. Huh?
So you're going A12 right now?
Yes, we're going A12 now. Yes. And we're gonna drive A12 up to the end. We're not getting off. So we best keep in the right lane.
well, are listening in at least into the conversation. Let's just, Isma, you can actually just keep playing that, but we'll just come to the conversation tonight. 17 minutes past 8 o'clock in the United Kingdom. We are talking about extraordinary people doing ordinary things, or ordinary people doing extraordinary stuff. Now, the one you are listening, the one you're hearing in the background.
Just
yes, actually, you can add
yeah.
and the person that you're hearing in this clip is already joined us, is Farida Wendy Rukawe, an experienced bus driver who's managed to get into bus driving. Probably there are women out there who are thinking, how did she do it? Well, why don't we just find out together? The program is Come. Let's talk with me, Kassim, Kayira. It might be that you know someone who has done something extraordinary. Please come and share this particular story of that particular person. For example, someone has just sent me a message to say there is a lady in Uganda who sold mukene, that is silverfish, those tiny, tiny fish, for nearly 15 years and managed to raise money to go to Mecca for the pilgrimage from the sale of silverfish. That is called commitment. But why don't we join now Wendy? Wendy, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm even speechless. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to the conversation. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, you're most
the
welcome.
Pictures and the voice we can hear in the background is you. And actually, you are mentoring a new potential driver, a new driver who is just getting to understand the routes, and then they'll be on the road soon. Probably, let's just start with your particular journey. How did you get into bus driving? How did you dream about bus driving?
Okay, well, it's about 7 years ago. I went into it after finishing my degree, and I didn't go to drive. I just went under graduation scheme because with a degree, they train you to be a manager. But by the time I applied, the positions had closed, and they told me it would be easier if you drive right now. By the time we open the positions, you have a very big opportunity because you'll be already in the industry. So I applied to drive. They trained me. They told me, don't worry, we'll train you in everything. I didn't have any clue. I just wanted to go and sit behind the counter or behind a laptop. But then they trained me. Luckily, I passed. The theory is 100 questions. You need to pass 85 with the theory. Then you do case study and you do hazard perception. And then they put you on the road to do practical, of which they give you 4 weeks, 2 weeks in training. After 2 weeks, they give you a progress check. They check how you're doing. If you're promising, then you pass that progress check. That's like mock. Then when you pass, they pass you onto the garage. And since then, I've driven for 3 companies. I started with Arriva, and I started with driving Route 149, which is based in Tottenham. It goes Edmonton, from Edmonton Green to London Bridge. That's where I found my my beloved uncle Kojadiro, who is on 341. We're working in the same garage.
Yes.
Yeah, that is Tottenham Garage. But then that Arriva 148 route, which is Walthamstow to London Bridge, and then they transferred us to Ashgrove. And then when they discontinued it, I came to Tower to drive Tower. That is a different company, to drive 69, which was won by another company. Go Ahead. So that's where I am right now. And in Go Ahead, I've just been there for like a year plus, and I've managed to squeeze myself into union rep, and as well as a mentor, because I'm training to be a bus instructor, to teach how to drive an instructor. But you start with mentoring.
Right.
But
now Wendy, you make this sound so easy for someone listening in. Considering, I mean, it's not like women have not been able to do stuff. Women have really broken the barriers. But one, you combine like 3 different things. One, you are a Black woman. And first of all, you are a woman, and then you are a Black woman, and then you are a Muslim Black woman. I mean, all these, I think, have particular things that go with that. How did you manage to break? How did you manage to break into this particular unfamiliar territory?
You said it. Oh, I remember when I was driving 106 and I was in Stock Newington. There is this lady. I don't know if she was appreciating me or she was just mocking. She was like, oh my God, you have it all. You are black, you are a woman, and you are Muslim. Now you are driving. How did you drive? I looked at her and I'm like, should I slap you or should I continue? But the thing is patience with bus driving. When you make a mistake, it's like our managers are looking to fault you than seeing the passengers fault. They always interrogate the driver first because always the passengers are right 24/7. Just like in shops, the customers are always right. But we encounter a lot of things. I was on 149 and at Dalston at around 10 o'clock. The Jamaican guy came and pulled off my scarf because every Friday I wear a full abaya. It's like I'm coming from Haji. Pulled off my scarf. But luckily enough with this, when you get all those abuse and all that, they tell you stop the bus. Don't move it, even if it's full, even if it's a stop the bus. There is a button up there, it's red. They call it code red. You press that button, the police will find you exactly. You don't need to say anything. Even if you're attacked, even if somebody calls you, you black monkey, they don't, as long as you hear it, you don't need to explain that he said it. You hear it, that's enough for you. You're not fit to drive. You're tortured emotionally and psychologically. You're not in a good state. You will have to stop the bus and seek any help. And then they'll send you home. If you don't want to continue, you go home. They take you into counseling. We're in a country that gives you that privilege, you know? So with that, it's not easy and it's not very difficult. Everyone can. It's as easy as cooking food and as difficult as cooking food, because there's some women who don't know how to cook. But then you can say that it's a women's job.
Well, Wendy, just to let those who have joined us in the conversation tonight, and the numbers are growing interestingly, if you have any question that you'd like to ask specifically to Wendy in her particular experience as we continue the conversation, please just drop it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we'll pick you up. We'll pick on you and then we can get to talk. Isma, if we can just stop that clip and then we prepare the clip where actually Wendy is in the bus driving, we will get to sort of talk around that particular clip. Now, Wendy, if you look at, you've spoken about already being in the driver's seat, you know, and sort of, you know, beginning to live the life. But through the interview process, did they not have any particular things about you being a woman? Was it a straightforward thing? Was it familiar? Were there other pioneers that you're already coming into a system that was already established?
Surprisingly, this industry is really looking for more women than women. More women than men. They're looking for more women. If we went together with a man and a woman, they'll look at me first because they want to balance the equation, because it looks like they have enough men. If you go, they'll look at the women first, because there is this saying, Mr. Kayira, you have to just agree what a man does, a woman does what? Does it better. So we stick to that. So they give us that chance. And I've told so many of my friends, if you've got a manual license, all it entails is just to have a driving license, and it's a manual, as long as you've held it for 2 years. You don't need to know how to turn the wheel. They'll teach you from point A to point B, and they'll make sure that you learn until you succeed, because it's not the company's money, it's TFL money, and you don't have to repay it. So if there is any chance and anyone wants to go there, it's doable and it's really paying. There's so many young people. There's so many women, Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians have taken over this, and Jamaicans. The thing is with us Ugandans, East Africans, by the time we get to see something, these Nigerians have invaded the place like you see nursing. Yeah. They're there like left, right, and center. You go in hospital. Oh, Nurse Olu, Nurse Fomi, Nurse Komi, you know, all Nigerians and Ghanaians and all that, yeah? They see things fast and they grab it with 2 hands. By the time we wake up, it's not too late, but when they've already gone. And for them, they are on upper levels. So it's really doable. We've got a lot of young people. I'm trying to pull everyone that has got a driving license and is manual and has held it for 2 years to come and we try it. You've got nothing to lose.
Let's talk about the times, because the amount, the shift pattern, how many hours do you have to do? And with that, of course, we'll be talking about how you juggle that with home affairs, especially when you have a husband and you come back with this tired back, how you manage again to be able to, I know women can multitask, but it's not an easy one. How are the shift patterns?
The shifts are rotation. It's rostered, yeah? They rotate. Basically, they're very early shifts and middle shifts and late shifts. An early shift can start as early as 4 o'clock in the morning. And then it's 8 hours max, minimum rather. So you can either do up to 8 hours or 12 hours. Then a middle shift will start from 7 o'clock to whenever. And then a late shift will start as late as 4 o'clock and finish 2 o'clock in the morning. However, you see it as 12-hour shift, but you don't do those 12 hours. You do 4 hours because we cannot drive 4 hours, 5 hours, 5.5 hours non-stop. You can't drive them. You can't exceed those hours. That is in the case study. Maximum you can drive in one single drive is 5.5 hours. And then you have a break of at least an hour 45. And even those 5 hours, you drive from point A to point B. The longest is 1 hour and 20 minutes. There is no route that is going to drive 2 hours. 1 hour, 20 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes. But when you go to point B, there is always 20 minutes break.
Right.
Yeah. Then you do that, and then 20 minutes break. You come back, point A, 20 minutes break. Then that's how the 5 hours accumulate. But once you do from sign on to your break, your final break is 5.5 hours. You cannot exceed it. And when you see it, it's not even the manager to see it. It's you to keep an eye on your hours, because it's your license. It's TFL rules and regulations. You exceed those hours, they cancel your license. So when you have a break, you go and do another 5 hours. So they count even the break, which is 2 hours. That is what makes it 12 hours. So you come home to tired children, a hungry husband, very grumpy, but it comes down to communication. You say, you know what, I do this. If he sees that it's really working, and then you make arrangements. Okay, when you do this, who is going to pick up Zane? How are we going to do it? Then you arrange and you discuss between you as a family. And with me, my family has helped me a lot. Yeah. So then once you go, you pass your probation. For now, you grab everything they throw at you. But once you pass your probation, there is always a way. I cannot do between 6 and 6, because right now for me, I'm on a contract that works not earlier than 6 and no later than 6. But to get that, you need to come up, cook up something. These people don't need proof. You tell them, I've got a back. There is no evidence or how much the back hurts you. It's what you tell them. It's not like a temperature. They'll measure the temperature, or what you tell them, the back hurts me, and the doctor has told me to take my medication at 8 o'clock, to take my paracetamol, then they'll give you that. Because even the doctor, what you tell the doctor, after they assess you, they'll try to make what is comfortable for you. So.
All right. Wendy, just because I've managed to grab Dora Farouk, who is just on a short break. Yeah, she's just on a very short break. I want to make sure we get her before she disappears.
Yes, please. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And just as a conversation we are talking, if you've just joined us, we are talking about extraordinary people doing ordinary things, or ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We've started with women, and the person you are listening to is Wendy Farida Rukawe, who is a bus driver. Now she's grown to become a mentor for bus drivers who are just about to get. The plan is for her to become a bus instructor, in which case now she'll be doing the tests or the testing for the bus drivers. We've had a very interesting conversation just regarding her own story as to how she got there. But I think we are going to dig slightly deeper. Managed to grab a train driver, a female train driver. And I think we can only just, grab her while we still can, because the next minute she will be finishing her break. And in the video that we'll watch later on, Isma, if you can please just drag that train video while we speak to Dora, because she won't be on camera. Again, I think because of where she is, at least we can be watching the camera, because she took us inside the train, and there are particular things. Actually, probably we'll just get a moment to listen to the instructions, because there's very good detail just in terms of, what is inside the train, what does what. All of these, I think, make a huge difference, and it will be interesting just to hear this. For those women out there probably thinking you cannot do it, probably this is the moment to start thinking. Dora, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the conversation.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello,
Thank you very
everyone.
much for making the time. I know you are in the middle of a shift, and you managed to come through. Very interesting to hear women now on professions that are.
Yes, all right.
And probably
yeah.
the question would be, how did you decide to become a train driver?
Well, basically, that's a long story, but I'll definitely cut it short. I came into the country, I think around 2003, and when I came, I looked at it was Southwest Trains. I saw the uniforms. I'm like, I can't be a nurse. I can't be anything. What can I be? So I'm seeing this lady. She's like wearing a suit. I'm fresh from university in Uganda. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be washing dishes. I don't want to, and I want to, basically I admired the uniform. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to see if I can make an application in, and if they can let me get into the railway, then I'll just get in. And I was discouraged by a lot of people, because I was just new into the country, and they were like, "Oh, you're not going to be able to make it." People like that, people like you don't get employed in such an industry. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. If they take me on, well and good. If they don't take me on, I've got nothing to lose. And I joined as revenue. By then I was in West London. So I joined as a revenue ticket inspection. That was 2006 now. So when I joined, I was there about a year. And then I was like, no, this is not enough for me. I started seeing the trains. I'm like, now I really want to go at the back of the train. And I was like, okay, in a year and a half, applied again, went to the back of the train. By then, it was those old trains. We used to use certain levers and pulleys. So a year and a half into the back of the train, I was like, no, I want to go to the front,
That is ambition. Dora, I know you are not very comfortable coming on screen with the camera.
Yeah.
But I was pleading with you just for 1 minute, because to hear your story, the video that we have does not have your face appearing at all. If just for 10 seconds, if you can just show us your face, I think that might actually bring in motivation for those. You can just click on and then switch it back off, please, if you can.
So how do I do that? Do I start video?
You just click on the video, because on your login there is a video. If you just click on the video, the video will
Is it that one? Can
okay.
Do I? I'm not good.
Yeah, that one. That's
that is me. And I think, I'm in uniform. As you can see, I'm in my booking on point.
Yep.
So I had to get away from the mess room just to have a chat with you guys.
Thank you very much. No, I think it was really important, because sometimes someone might think someone is just making up things and you are not there. You are a ghost. These days there is Google Translate. Someone might just think that probably we are speaking to a ghost from Sheikh Google and not you. Thank you very much. Yeah. So you, after 1 year and a half, you've gone from ticketing, you go to the back of the train. Now you are looking to go to the front. What did it take?
Yeah. At the front, that was 2009. And I literally went through, because as with train driving, number one, you cannot be under any immigration restrictions.
Right,
so the minimum you can have is indefinite leave. And I was listening to Wendy, and her shift pattern doesn't seem to veer off from our pattern.
Right.
And so when I joined, when I decided to go to the front, at the time it was 2009. We were in the 2000s, but it is unbelievable that I was the only female in my 20s in the training room. And the first time I saw that train in the yard, I was like, am I going to be able to do this? What mess did I put myself into? But then I was like, you know what? By the time I've got here, if all these people around me can do it, it means I can do it. And I was like, you know what? Well, logically, what I'm going to do, I'm always going to be either third in any kind of experiments we have to do, any driving, any answering of questions. I was like, I'm always going to try and position myself as third, because they would train us in teams of 8 at the time. And I was with London Overground at the time, which is a river. It became a river now. Yeah, I did train. By then we did mechanical. We did about five kind of tests to become a driver, and you have to pass all of the tests. Up to today, it is still the same policy. You cannot afford to fail any one of the tests, and because it's a centralized system, you can only be allowed in your lifetime to do the test twice.
Right.
Yeah, so if you fail, you can never be a trained driver in the country ever.
Isma, if you can get us the video actually, because I see the still photo is very dull. We'll be able to tap into the conversation as we get Dora, because the hard break is actually not long to go. So Dora, what would you say was the biggest challenge that you faced? I mean, you said initially when you got in your particular training, you are the only woman there. How did that feel? Did the men make it comfortable for you to be there? Did they tease you? How was that? Take us through that particular experience, because it's always the beginning that is difficult.
Yeah, we had a lot of, because it's mainly a white male-dominated role.
Yes.
And so they have their preconceptions of like, you're a woman. It didn't matter whether you're white or black, but you're a woman. How can a woman be doing a job like ours? You know, it was mainly those few white drivers who would be like, you know what, this is a job whereby we are seen as macho. So if we're seen as macho and there is this tiny girl or this tiny woman, and woman, let's say just a woman, and she's doing the same job as us, what does that mean for us? You know, that was the kind of challenge, because you'd come in the mess room, they all go quiet, or maybe, you know, we were isolated, because by the time I finished my training, because the training took a year during that time, we were at a place where it was about 200 drivers, and we were only three female drivers. Wow. I was the only, I think we were 2 black women and one white lady, and the other black woman was Nigerian, but she was so macho. She looked so, you know, she was humongous. And yes. Yeah, so I used to literally, and then the other thing was mainly the passengers. Every time they looked at me, they'll be like, oh, you two, are you the one driving that train? Yeah. Are you sure you're gonna get me to my destination, because you don't look like you can handle this machine that kind of stuff.
Is that because of your size then, or just
my size then, because I was like a size 8, I'm 20 something, and I'm in my early 20s, and so everyone couldn't believe, a lot of people actually, and that crossed from white to black, and other people would come to you and they're like, oh, I haven't seen a female driver before, you know? So you would get a whole range of some people who were comfortable with you, others who were not comfortable with you. And but it was all about.
Did that give you the strength to actually go ahead and do it, or were there moments when you felt like, you know, dropping out?
To be honest, the only moment I felt like I've never felt like someone has pushed me to go out, never. Because it actually used to work to my advantage. Like the managers would be like, they would look at you and they're like, what do you do for this person? If you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or they would just dismiss you. They just basically as if you're not there. But then at the end of the day, you're just like, I know why I'm here. I enjoy what I do. And if I enjoy what I do, no one is, and I'm going to follow what it is I'm supposed to do. Come, book on, and there was a lot of Nigerian gentlemen who were really, really helpful. Right. And the depot itself, the other normal, majority of the drivers were okay. You know, you would not feel out of place. So I would not sit and say that at any one point I felt like I was being, pushed over by a person, bullied, whatever. That I did not experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But now, of course, a thought just crossed my mind. I've heard the RMT union is calling for a strike. Will you be amongst those that are striking?
Now that I would sit and tell you that RMT striking is nothing, because RMT is any non-driving staff. Ours is ASLEF. So if you ever hear ASLEF is, for us as drivers, they will try their level best to make sure we do not strike. So if you
support staff in the other areas.
Yeah, because if the drivers sit and say, we are not driving the trains, everything, the support staff, whoever, everything just goes standstill. So they make sure at least, even if platform staff can strike, but drivers should not be striking, because that will ground the whole. It's like literally the whole system will be grounded. So we are different unions.
If you just joined us, this is Come. Let's talk with me, Kassim Kayira, and we are live on 75W Radio. We are live on Uma Connect, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Zoom. And tonight we are having two very, bold ladies who have taken the steps. One, a bus driver, Wendy, who we have heard from and will continue to hear from. But we're now at the moment speaking to Dora Farouk, who at this moment is talking about her journey in driving a train. Dora, actually, let me just mention that the latest train line to be launched, which is the Elizabethan line, although it has stopped for a little bit for reasons beyond, your own control. But at least you have been on that line. That is a pride that many Africans, many Ugandans now should have in you.
Yes, actually, if I can mention it, I was part of the team that has been doing the testing from when the tunnel, basically once they finished constructing the tunnels where the trains will be going through, we are the ones then who started bringing in the trains. So every time you heard that, oh my God, this train line is getting delayed. Basically, it was us who were getting the flak for it. Because but I found it a privilege to be able to understand how that system has come from seeing the dust in the tunnels, and then up to now that we now have passengers on board the trains. It's been here for long, because it's the former it's a lot of people know it as TFL rail. Yeah, but in actual sense, TFL rail, they just changed it to Elizabeth line, but they come through processes. Like I had Wendy saying, you can go it depends on the franchise, who has the franchise today. While it was being constructed, it was Crossrail. So once Crossrail finished, he had to then deliver it to MTR Elizabeth. But then MTR is a Chinese conglomerate that runs the Elizabeth line under TFL conditions. Yeah, so there is a lot that goes on in terms of the corporate world of things. Yeah.
Now, for those viewing and listening to the conversation tonight, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate. You can raise your hand. You can put the question in the chat room, and we'll put it to our guests tonight. Please do not hesitate at any moment. The conversation is continuing, and we still have Dora, I think, for about 10 minutes at least before she can go. What sort of message would you have for any woman, any African intending to want to go into driving a train? What sort of
I would sit and say we should never let fear stop us from pushing. Like Wendy said, a lot of us Ugandans, we don't think we can get to places, but we definitely can, Therefore, if you sit and say, this is what I want to do, just find out the information you need to do that, and then sit and say, you know what, I'm going to push for it. can I find someone who knows the ins and outs of this? Can I do that? So, and but I would mainly say we should never let fear control us.
But Dora, is it about probably getting out of our own community? Because this is the question now. Wendy, please, you can unmute yourself so that we have this sort of joint conversation before Dora goes, and at least you get a chance to sort of lead into the conversation. When you say Ugandans quite often, sort of fear to sort of take that step, is it a moment, is it a time then for us probably as Ugandans to start moving away from Uganda? Because the people that you hang around are the people that are going to make you feel that.
Most definitely.
Sort of mix up into other communities and sort of see their kind of boldness. You can never squeeze a Nigerian, for example, at work. They are always there and they are fighting it. Is it about us now sort of moving away from our own communities and beginning to sort of filter out as a way that would help to do that? And it's a question to both of you, Wendy and Dora.
I'll let my Dora go first because she said definitely, but I disagree with her.
All right, Dora.
For me personally, it is unbelievable that when they're bringing out new starters in the company, not even driving, just even customer service, just even logistics, I'm literally looking out for a Ugandan name to sit and say, would there be a person who is from my country, who is in the same, in the same line with me? I've not seen one. Not one like this. My previous company, there were about 3. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking we don't know how to go. We don't have the confidence. Majority of us don't have the confidence to sit and say, let me go out there, take myself out of my comfort zone. And the people who were discouraging me when I was starting were Ugandans.
What were they saying? What would they say? That you can't do it, or you shouldn't?
You can't do it. That job is just for white people. Who is going to take you on? Them, those kinds of statements. And then,
Wendy?
like I said, it was my mental strength that told me, you know what? I'm always a believer. I would rather try it and fail, but not try at all. Yeah.
I know.
Wendy?
Yeah, I agree with Dora, but I don't think we should stay away from Ugandans. I think we should stay in them, and then they know that this is what you do. And then they see if Wendy can do it. Wendy has got kids. They will even say, how can she even sit in that cab? She's too big in that cab. Can she even fit in there? Whatever thing they can come up with. But then they will say, if she can do it, so can I. We tell them how
Wendy,
to do
when I said moving away, I didn't mean actually sort of leaving Uganda. What I meant was going there and kusakira our people, sort of going and stealing these ideas and then bringing the confidence. Because if the two of you now come and appear within our community, the kind of impression that you're painting, the picture that you're creating is a picture of the go-getters, the people who have gone out there and actually, as I mentioned that, a Quranic verse came to my mind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he talks about going for education, he says, it is not that everybody in the community should go out, but let there be a small group, a nucleus group from amongst you who go and learn and then come and teach their people, warn their people once they've returned. So there has to be that go-getter community that goes out there, fetches the confidence, brings it back, and then on the basis of that, being able to use it to filter into the society. That was my thinking when I said, should we sort of venturing out?
The problem with we Ugandans, we have of course, some friends, they say, no, those are not our jobs. I told you, Mr. Kayira, about this friend of mine, maternal leave. I even spoke about him. He goes like, oh, Wendy, man, I cannot even take you for a coffee. You're some woman. Which woman drives a bus? And then you come to your car, you drive a manual car. Yeah, you're some woman. I can't believe. I'm like, maternal leave, you're my friend. Stop criticizing me. But up to now, he regards me as some wild woman. But there are these women who are really, and so you can see a young girl, because to go into it, you just have to have a license for 2 years. As soon as they turn 20, that's it. They got a license at 18 years, 20, that's it. But once it's the love for something. For me personally, I want to start to try something new, and I see if that one can do it. Why not me? Let me try it. Let me try it. I've got about 3 people. I'm pulling them. I'm gonna pull them by the ear. I'm taking them. 3 people. They're still pulling one leg in, one out. They
Yeah.
don't know if they're coming or going, things like that. It's like taking somebody to the home office and jumps out of corridor and goes like, no work. And
Says that,
I'll
I
come back
can't
next
face it. I'm
month.
not yet ready. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not ready. Yeah, they're
Right.
not ready, but they want it.
So Dora, are you married yet?
Farouk is the husband.
Who?
Farouk.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. So, was it a problem at all getting a man to sort of believe in you? Being in that kind of job. Are there any insecurities for a man sort of feeling like he's away
Yes.
in a field that is
Yes, definitely. A lot of them are very insecure, especially in terms of, let's say, when it comes to salary. A lot of them would be insecure about the unsocial hours that we work. But I'm glad my partner doesn't see it that way. Right. He has let me be me. He has said, to the extent that he understood this, but I had to sit him down and explain to him, listen, I'm not leaving this job. I love it. Mm-hmm. And we sat down and agreed that he would work around me. And we said, okay, what is the option? And he was like, let me go self-employed, such that you can continue doing what you want to do. Yeah. If I'm finishing very late at night, he'll just call you to check up on you. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. If it means he has to go pick the child up, basically, like Wendy was saying earlier, you have to sit down with your closest people, come to an agreement and have trust that this person is where they are doing whatever they're doing for the benefit of the family. Because sometimes it will happen that maybe your partner's job is not stable and they may have to stay at home for 4 months, 5 months without a job. At least your job is able to pull everything, and then you guys continue working together until then he pulls himself up or she pulls herself up, and then you move forward. So alhamdulillah, my partner has been helpful in that on that front, but it is very challenging when you're on your own, extremely challenging in terms of childcare because of the shift work. Because for us, there is no day you can sit and say, today I'm starting at 2. You could start at 11 today. Tomorrow at 12. Next day at 9. Then the other day at 6. Then 4. Then 3. It just, they could just say earlies. Yes, you're on earlies, but those earlies are different start times. So your body clock cannot get used to it. For the 11 years, for the 11 years 13 years I've been driving, my body has never gotten used to the way our shift patterns work. So you have to really have a supportive partner or family support system around you. Otherwise, you're going to have to make very, very difficult decisions. So it is very good because number one, it requires discipline. It requires time efficiency. It requires resting your body because you're drained mentally. So mentally drained. So you really, because you have to focus, you have to be in the moment. I cannot be thinking of the argument I had at home. I cannot be thinking, oh my God, where is my son? What is he going to be doing? I can only think about
when you have 1,000 people to look after on the trip.
Thank you very much.
And loads of messages are coming in the chat room for you guys. Here, Laila Narvega says, Wendy, add me to the 3, says Joanna. That is Wendy's statement saying she was pulling some people to go in and make a decision. So Joanne says, please add me to that list. And Norwega again says, Dora, you are a star. I think that is a lot of motivation. Wendy says, well, I will inbox you later. Well, if you have any points, I can see. So Wendy Masaba, you are smiling so much. We only have 4 minutes to let Dora go, and we continue with Wendy. Yeah, it looks like you have a point to raise now. You've been listening into the conversation before I let them go, probably. Come on. Do you have any point to raise with Wendy?
Yes. Yeah, that's very true. Thank you for giving
I
me
saw the
chance.
smile on your face and I knew you were rolling with the
Yeah, thank you for giving me the chance. I was in for it. I was one of those that I was like, thank you. This woman, she's a superwoman. We should encourage the sisters as well to join this industry. But the shift pattern has
the unsocial 1 hours.
That shift pattern that keeps fluctuating like stock markets. No, it's not something that it's very easy to adapt to and settle in for. It's a kind of a hard call to make, to be honest. But I wish the ladies the absolute best in whatever you're doing, and please, we shall pray for you to excel in whatever.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
Really
you.
appreciate.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage actually, because when you think about it. So Dora, I'll get to a lot of the questions with Wendy once you go, because I wanted to make sure now we maximize the time that we've got you here. Well, just in terms of, you've spoken about having an understanding spouse who comes in as a support mechanism. Is there a day that you have found yourself stressed by work? I mean, is there a particular moment in time that you think this was one moment when I thought I was just about to let go, just like we do in many jobs? But was there one particular moment that stands out for you that you think this was one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because the line, the route, my previous company, the line was very, very, very. The line was too much of a start and stop. You're literally pulling up, you're stopping. You're pulling up, you're stopping, and I got drained mentally. By the time I was in my ninth year of driving, I was like, I'm just so tired. I lost my motivation. I lost it. And I was just like, I need a break. I need a breather. Yes, you're giving me this money. Yes, I'm having, because we only work essentially 6 months in a year, but they stretch it across the whole year. So you're literally getting a week, we literally work just 4 days a week. And then after 8 weeks, you get 2 weeks off. For my company now, my previous company, it was every 3 weeks you would get 7 days off or 6 days of rotating, but they were not enough. I felt they were not enough. So I was like, you know what? Let me take a step back and try to focus on other things in life. Because that job is a job that can make you become so comfortable. And then when you get comfortable, you fear losing it. I was like, I don't want to be held prisoner because of this. I'm already demotivated. What next do I need to do? So I took myself out, said, okay, what is the best way to get out of this? I was like, let me have a baby. So I had a baby. So when I had a baby, it helped me take about 15 months out. I took 15 months out. But as soon as I came in, the muscle memory, oh my goodness, within a week, I was already back to what I used to do before. And then I was like, you know what? The motivation was gone again. And I was like, you know what? Let me switch companies. So I switched companies and said, let me see whether
Dora.
I think so, inshallah, I will. So I said, let me switch companies. So I switched companies. So we were doing the testing for the new trains. We've got, like in the video I was saying, we drive under 3 systems. Today I'll be going Heathrow, the other day Reading, I'll be going Shenfield, I'll be coming to Abbeywood. And I'm like, I like that variation. But I'm saying now, okay, will that demon come back to haunt me of being demotivated again? So only time will tell. But yeah, it was after 9 years.
What do you do then in your break, in your 7 days? Do you go out? Do you get a massage? How do you manage to get your mental state back?
Having done it for a long time, experience has taught me how to mentally put everything in its box in my head. I can sit and say, for these 2 weeks, I'm going to be at home. I'm going to do nothing. Or I tend to use my 2 weeks to take a weekend to travel outside of the country or travel anywhere to see for my eyes to see different things. and for my brain to take in something different. So I said, by the time I come back, and then my body starting kind of to go back into the routine, then it's looking forward to seeing something different all over again. So that is how I do it. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Well, I think it's 9 o'clock and we have promised. So Isma, if you can have that video clip ready, we'll let Dora go. Thank you so much, Dora. Maybe are there any parting words you'd like to give to the people that have been watching tonight's conversation and the people that will watch it after? Because actually it's on YouTube. If you just get the time, just go look for Ummah Connected, just search for Come Let's Talk with Kassim Kayira, and you'll find the topic of the day. Just in case you miss any program, do not feel let out or left out. You can always catch up and then be able to follow on the conversation. Are there any parting words you have, Dora, before you leave?
Yeah, I would just encourage my fellow countrymen and women to just push. Let's just push each other. Let's do it. You know, if you believe you let's just have belief in ourselves, in what this country has to offer.
Exactly.
You know, and not sit and say let's just not be pushed into that corner. Oh, we're just going to be nurses. We're just going to be cleaners. We're just going to be, no, let's continue pushing.
Various.
Yeah, all these various, you know, because Nigerians, I listen to them and I'm like, wow, you know, I'm doing this. And you're just like, okay. So for me, it's just me limiting myself to sit and say, I'm comfortable with the driving, because once my key is out of the train, I don't have to worry about work. But I would have easily gone managing, but I'm like, I don't want that stress.
Are you able to do that, Dora? Are you able to actually shut off that when you leave or work, you leave work there and you can actually go home?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long do you see now yourself going on? It's been 13 years you are driving. How much longer do you feel like you'll be able to push it?
Basically, I'm just taking it a step at a time.
Right.
And I'm like, if I ever feel like I can't do it anymore, I'm tired, I'll leave. I know I don't have that fear of leaving. I don't, because I've put up strategies to be able to function outside of this job. So even here where I'm standing, I am not afraid of losing the job, because I'm like, I put myself into this mindset that said I could actually lose it any day, anytime. I need to make sure, even if I lose it, I'll still function as a human being. I'll do other things. So that allows you to switch off outside of work and focus on your other things. And then life just goes on. Yeah. So that is the way I've programmed myself.
If it is not a secret at all, some of your plan B's, the way you say you are not afraid of losing, what would you do if you left?
Basically, I made a decision that if I was to ever leave this job, there is no other job that can give me this kind of comfort in this country. I'll be going home.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Very beautiful last words. Thank you very much, Dora. May God bless you, and thank you very much. Isma, if we can have that clip, please, of Dora, we can listen to that, and then we shall come back off the back of the clip, continue with Wendy now, and sort of try to delve into the dynamics of the work. The program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. We are live on 75W Radio. We are also live on Ummah Connect, on YouTube, on Zoom, and on Facebook. And look for us, facebook.com, just look for 75W Radio, look for the program, and you'll be able to do that. So Eddie Masama, looks like there's something burning while the video is coming. I'll ask you to unmute and then quickly please share it. Or were you just saying you are happy with what you've had so far? Was it a question?
No, I was just saying that we're getting into Maghreb time. I will be just dashing out for
no problem whatsoever. Not a problem at all. Isma, we are ready for the video, please. Thank you very much, Soeb. Yes, if you can just watch the video now. That is now Dora in control. Looks like the volume is off, Isma. I think you had put the volume down. Isma, if you can check on the volume, please. The volume is down. All right, you've noticed. Okay. I can't hear nothing. The chat room has been unusually quiet for the number of people that are in the conversation. I don't know whether you are just mesmerized, amused, happy, or just, like just trying to let the message sink in. Yeah, let's watch the clip, please, and then we'll come back and get to Wendy, inshallah. Let's just take it from the start, Mana Isma. Isma, I don't know what's happened. The clip is gone off. Right. In the meantime, while we wait for Isma to sort out the clip, it would have been good to just have the clip of the back of Dora before Dora leaves, and least we start. Isma, is the clip coming? But we can have Wendy, is what we have. Wendy, you put in the chat room that you are so proud of Dora, and you actually directed me to Dora. So thank you for that. I mean, it helped me to sort of dig into an area that I wasn't very familiar with. But listening to Dora's story and your own story, I mean, how does that make you feel? You said you felt proud, but proud in what sense?
Yeah, she's a young girl with a young child, When I saw her, I saw Dora through my friend Farouk, the husband. And then she said, yeah, because we were at my sister's house, and I want to go into driving trains. I want to go to driving trains. Then he told me, my wife drives trains. I'm like, what? That's how I got to know Dora. I got to know Malik. She has a 4-year-old son, but to juggle all that around, so it's not easy. That's why I say I'm so proud of her. And by the way, let me take this opportunity. When Dora said that we Ugandans, we want to be stuck in nursing and cleaning, tewali mulimu mutono, don't get us wrong. Everyone are proud ku mulimu gwakola. Era she didn't mean it in wepango mutanizo chi jiran no chi twisting anagamba tinoba.
No, I don't think that's what we actually
Yeah. So we're naturally proud of we just want to explore what the government has got to offer. To get it explore, we go wild and we see what we can do. We literally came in this country, Kunonya Saint, we just want to leave no stone unturned. We just want to turn all the stones. At least we fail. We've tried. Not to fail to try.
Right. Now there's a fear that women who work so hard, with the chemicals that have spoiled their hands, but now you come to train driving and bus driving, looks like they are heavy shifts. Are you romanticism? How do you manage to juggle that bit? Sounds a bit personal, but I think no. Need to ask.
Actually, when I started driving, about 7 years ago, back, I got my omulonji wange Wendy naye phone me already. I'm in the industry. So nagamba, he also got worried. Nagamba banange, ogenda kolo tia or kola up to 2 o'clock. He didn't believe. He came and we did that trip. And we finished at 2 o'clock. He did at least a week, but working and 2 days to maliza shift fenna. Tutandika 4 o'clock, era tuvawa.
Ngajana atula mu bus
no fine ka blanket kene ka coffee. Kakati namanya. Then welcome you just just because I'm romantic.
Now these are the
no tewaluma atenengalo twambala gloves ogendo zija konga, it's like a baby's bum. So don't judge a book. Na tukola chinga wagambi, you switch off. My friend around me, you see that Team Infinity, cool, the treasurers and all, they know if I don't call Wendy by 9 o'clock, that's it, I've missed her. Even all the Derby ladies, they know we never go out with Wendy because she has this common denominator. As soon as they say, they complete in. So people around you will understand. Chono by this time abera yebase, this time abera takwata simu, and even they know during at work they only call you once. When I don't have that phone, I'll not answer. And I wait, I go to the end of the trip, I'll definitely get back to you. So people know, people around you, they know your times, they know. You can even be off. Like Monday, I tell them, Banag, I'm going to be off. I'm off this week, but I'm not available. And you just lock yourself in the house. They know it. I'm off, but I'm not available. You lock yourself in the house and you switch off. You don't want to know what's even happening at the next door neighbor.
Wendy, I think the clip read the actually the end about Dora Chariko, but then someone now I just put it Dora before she disappears. Dora, it's about the romantic nature at home. Who can go to stress does your romantic life actually suffer? It sounds
not
so
at all.
I think these are the things we have to deal with on a daily basis.
Not at all. Actually, okozesa that romantic life okwerejuvenatinga otera refresh. So yes, you know, you use it instead to, you know.
It's medicinal.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Dora. So what is playing at a clip? But
hello everyone. It's a privilege for me to be explaining to you my role as a train driver and showing you.
And if you've just joined us, that is Dora taking us. And what is inside that train, the modern train, the new train?
What it is that we do, and what most things do really. So basically, this is one of the Elizabeth trains, but at the moment, it is shut down, so it is not operational. Of course, the Elizabeth line is the newest line, runs from Shenfield to Reading to Heathrow and then from Abbeywood to Paddington. And all Elizabeth line drivers literally have to drive all these routes at any one time. And this train has the latest technology in terms of the railway. It is 9 carriages long and can carry up to about 1,000 people when really busy. On top of that, it is a driver-only train in such a way that you, the driver, you're the one who is solely responsible for every single person that is on that train, including you. With the railway, you can run your train late, but you can never run your train early. That is the unspoken, one of the unspoken rules that you get to know as you gain experience. And so this train runs under 3 systems. So running under 3 systems, it's called the automated system, which is the Wi-Fi system. And this is the Wi-Fi system. This is automatic. So that starts it and that stops it. And this is the system that the current newest, the one that was opened recently is the one that we use the most. This one is really quick. It allows trains to run at, that's why you can see trains can be able to run at 2 minute intervals, 5 minute intervals. But when things go wrong with this system, then we go to the conventional system. With this conventional system, you are manually in charge of the train. So you're the driver, you're starting the train, you're stopping the train. The third system is a system that incorporates the automated system and this system, but you follow it from here. When you follow it from here, basically what you're doing is whatever you see that is happening on this screen, you react accordingly. This so then it brings us to these cameras. These cameras help you to look on the platforms when passengers are coming on and getting off. The buttons all over here, each has a function. We have emergency buttons. We have, for example, this one is an emergency button. Then we've got it here about the cab door as well. And basically anything happens, just press that and the train will just come to a stop. No matter who is in charge of the train will come to a stop. The other thing we have is this radio. It's a communication radio that is literally global. So basically, they can send a message to you through this radio as long as you're in the route, the controlling signal will be able to contact you through this radio, and then you will also be able to contact the signal through this radio. So we have a lot of other safety systems on this train. We have a DSD, which is this one. Basically, it has to be depressed in when you're driving, and if you're not depressed it in, it will alert you every 2 minutes to depress it in, such that it can know, the train knows, or the system, or whoever is controlling the system out there knows that you are fine. If that DSD is not acknowledged in about 7 seconds, the train is going to come to a stop. That also works as a button here, and then works as a pedal over there. We also have other systems. We have a lot of systems. So basically all these buttons, some of them will give you a flashing indication, some of them will give you a light, like that one for the brakes, another one that is light, another one will give you an audible sound to alert you or something is wrong. We have an isolation panel here. This isolation panel, in case the system fails and they fail to rectify it, this panel, you're going to come isolate the system and then follow the rules and regulations that govern driving when whatever any of these is isolated. Then once everything is sorted, you replace it back to normal, but you have to have authority to do that. Then we have this the MCB. This can trip and let you know what is not working, talk to them and then sort it out. Then when all those systems fail, we have a fail-safe system on the trains, and this fail-safe system is like a mechanical system. So basically, what it does, it allows you to operate the train mechanically. So yeah, you operate the train mechanically, and that means you can move the train when all the systems have failed. These are our keys. So this one is a train key that every train driver has. This is a T key that every train driver will need to open up the doors, anything they need, those are the keys. So basically, yeah, that is, we start as early as 3:30 in the morning and finish as late as 1 o'clock in the night. Those are some of our signals, depending on which system you're using. Those far ahead where you see a green and a red are the conventional signaling systems, and then the blue and the yellow you see is the new, the ones where we use the Wi-Fi system. Yeah, and then these are the what you see here at the routes of the train to let you know where you've come to stop and all that. So hopefully you have enjoyed my brief take on what I do on my role as a train driver, and I'm sorry I haven't shown my face because I'm not comfortable with it, but maybe next time. Thank you.
Well,
Bye.
you managed to get that through. Isma, thank you very much in the studios on 75 W Radio. The program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim, Kayira. And tonight we are talking about extraordinary people doing ordinary things, or ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And you've just been watching Dora there, a train driver who we had in the conversation, just in case you missed and joined us later on. I would like to hear from you your own personal stories. I mean, there will be definitely stories out there. And the way this program works is nobody's just a total expert. All of us are experts in our own areas. Maybe you know someone who managed to do something that was extraordinary. Something, say, for example, coming from Rakai and growing up in the Antonde, where so many people, died from the AIDS pandemic in the 80s and early 90s. Many families there are some families that were totally decimated. Father dies, followed by mother straight on, and then the kids are left to look after themselves. One of the children comes out and becomes really the strength of the family, looks after all the siblings, takes care of them, young children looking after young children. And these were households that later on became something for the children that were not infected or afflicted by the HIV virus. These are some of the people that we talk about. In the start of the program, we spoke about a man who has, for example, done 77 Hajj Actually, Isma, when you have that clip at some moment, probably it would be very good just for viewers to sort of get a view of that. But 77 times going to Mecca, that can't be like twice or thrice in a year. No, no, definitely. That has to be a separate year. 77 times. I mean, how blessed can you be? Wendy, we are back, and thank you very much for staying on tonight's conversation. We've just heard from Dora, and we were hearing from you earlier on in the conversation. Let's talk about the actual you deciding now to get into bus driving and what that meant. Oh, the clip looks like it has been found. Let's just play that clip and then come to Wendy and roll to the very end. Listen to that clip and just see. This is a man, Hajj, who has done 77 hijjas in his lifetime, and see just how well he looks. Play the clip, please. Oh, the sound is low.
Emirundi nsanvu mu musanvu zowakalinnya ennyonyi kugenda e Makka.
Kati mu hijja anamu esatu hijja omuhijja.
Hijja yasooka wagikola mwaka ki?
Nkaaga. Kaakati waliwo umra ezikolwa mu Ramadan. Ebisiibo mbisiibira Makka. Nakasiibira e Makka emirundi 27.
Obuvono Obudo, Sundays, 9 p.m.
Well, 27 times doing Ramadan in Mecca, 43 times doing Hijjah, starting in 1960. Some people are blessed. Maybe you know someone that you'd like to share, actually, just to hear their stories. Wendy, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We are still continuing with the conversation tonight, and you know, your journey into bus driving. You started, how long have you been in there? Because Dora said she's been there for 13 years. How long have you been driving the bus?
I'm new, just 7 years.
7 years, and you think that's new? That's a lot of time. Now, of course, within the 7 years, there has been a lot of transformation from the times when people had to pay cash to now just coming in with the cards. Let's start with the times of cash, the sort of challenges that you would face on the buses, especially with students or pupils coming from school and boarding the bus. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, luckily by the time I started, we had gone cashless.
Right.
We're not taking cash. It was just an oyster, and then it upgraded to even using the card, the payment card, contactless. We never taken cash when Natandikira, they had already gone cashless.
Right.
Another one is talked about the kids, school runs, during school runs. Oh dear, near my house here, I drive 69, which passes near my house.
Okay.
And then there is a school called Eastleigh.
Yes.
Recently, I drove, and as I'm going War Farm store, these kids are like rabbits when they have kids. So they were in the road, and this one proper pushed another child in front of my bus. I had to handbrake. You know, there is this handbrake you pull, and the bus does an emergency stop. But when you do that emergency stop, people on the bus fly like leaves. Yes. They all over. You don't know the impact, but people can fly left, right, and center. The cameras on a bus everywhere, and these cameras are HD ready. Cameras, they can even see a pimple in your face. So as you do that, this bus weighs more than 10,000 kilos. So when it goes on top of anyone, the intestines come out like toothpaste coming out of a tube. There is not even a slight chance of surviving. So instead of killing those people, even if I've got 40 people on the bus, I'll do a handbrake, and then they compensate all those people who have fallen on the bus than killing this person, because even if it's his fault, that is going to destroy me for the rest of my life. Taking somebody,
you're literally walking on eggshells for that much.
Yeah, definitely. So what happened? Where Syndicate in front of my bus, I had to handbrake, and I called the controller, told them this happened. They told me stop the bus, get everyone off. We're sending somebody to come and pick the bus and bring you back home. Bring the bus back to the garage. You go sweating. You still have that vision. If I stepped on him, if I knocked him. But with the CCTV, they managed to get that CCTV, went to the school, tracked the child to school, and was proper prosecuted because that is like intended murder or something, or commit suicide or something.
Yes.
So bus, it went, and they gave me just my 2 days to calm down, and I go back to work. So as a challenge, abana, they come on the bus, they start fighting, you don't continue with the bus. Whatever happens, you just don't continue, and you let CCTV do the run its
But you
course.
can't intervene. You can't intervene in the
No,
fighting.
you cannot even come out of that cab. We have this small cabin. It's locked, like Dora showed you the T keys.
Yes.
We have those T keys. Sorry, I'm not on camera. I would have shown you, man. I've got plenty here. We have those T keys. I know. We have those T keys.
Yeah.
Those keys are the ones you use to come on the bus and to come off. So when somebody happens, unless the bus has caught fire, you don't even intervene to tell them why you're beating him, why. You just look on. As long as you press your button, your red button, then they will come, but you don't intervene. And once you come out to diffuse the situation, you, the driver, you're in wrong, because our first priority is to make myself safe before I even think of others. I first say that I'm safe before I think of others. Are they safe? Are they beaten? Let them beat themselves to make the bus into a labor ward. Let it be covered in blood. You're not allowed to come out. So in that cabin, you stay in there because all the CCTV will be playing. Okay, I'll show you my T key.
Right.
Yeah, you see, that's the T key.
Hold on 1 second. I'll just flag it. I'll just spotlight it for everybody. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
like
it's the
close.
T key. Yeah, it looks like Dora's. Yeah, it opens the bus. Every driver has to have this. Yeah, it's the key you have to open that cabin to go into the.
Does that key open any bus? So just in case you go to any
Yes,
bus,
it opens every bus. Yeah, it opens any bus, because we know as son that this is my specific bus. When you start in the morning, the bus you take out of the garage, it's not the bus you're going to drive after break.
Right.
We just go by operating numbers. That operating number 182 is having a break at 10:30, and another operating number 182 who drives late will take a bus at 10:20 from Cannington. So you don't know who's driven that bus, but you just go by operating number, and you'll find that operating number on the bus. So you just have your key to open it.
During the conversation before we went for to play the clip there, Dora's clip when it appeared, you are talking about, how your relationship with your husband now improved a lot the moment you came onto the bus, took his blanket. I would like just to explore just a little bit more into that, because not many jobs where people have opportunities to be able, like, viewing with their spouses, like, and take them on board for them to be able to come and see the kind of, probably graveyard shift that you're doing, you're working on. What sort of conversation would you have in the process towards the end of the shift? What would he say? I wish he was on here so that we could just explore that with him.
By the time I finish the shift, he'll be so knackered, who even talk to me, who just run home, who don't even talk to me. It's a shift you finish when you don't even want to say hello to anyone. Just go quickly, jump in a shower, hurry up, who's going in first, and then. So there is not even conversation, but would just enjoy the sightseeing, because we sit on top of the upper deck and you do the driving. But at the end of the shift, there is no conversation. It's just a knackering process.
Yeah, but a lot more understanding than sort of coming out of that.
Yeah, I understand. So once he goes on the bus, he knows what you're really going to, because he's not on there every day. He gives you 1 or 2 days in a week, or one in 2 weeks. Yeah, but you're there every day, and he does it in a choice. Maybe I'll come, I'll see tomorrow, or I'll do, but for you don't have a choice. But being on it just 1 day makes him realize what you go through, how many abuses you get through, how annoying it is, they delay you, how hot it is, how cold it is, all those things. Because it's not a thing that you have a choice and you say, no, I'm hungry, let me pack the bus, go have something to eat, let me buy a drink. You need to go to the end of the trip, regardless of how much traffic you're caught in.
As a husband, though, I think the temptation would be, in case someone came and abused my wife, and I saw that, you almost would want to take action. And yet you are in that cabin, in that cab, you can't come out. the temptation to want to probably intervene on your behalf. That's the likelihood that is there. Why don't we hear from the people that are following the conversation tonight? The way this program works, of course, is we will come to you and we'll try to hear your own take. One on the conversation, but probably you have someone who has done something extraordinary that you know about. And it's always easy to notice newcomers into the show. I see Sam Jacobs. Sam, good evening. Hello, Sam. Can you unmute yourself, please? Someone is logged in as Sam Jacobs. Hello, Sam. Sam is still making up their mind. But Joanne was one who said she wanted to join the 3 people that you are dragging to go and drive the bus. Joanne, good evening. Hello, Joanne. Hey, subhanallah. People have gone quiet. Joanne, can you unmute yourself, please? We'd like to hear from you. Oh, all right. Let's try Shatraz. Oh, Janat, actually. Janat has been around since the start of the conversation. My time is up, Mr. Kayira. Oh, really? Please don't go yet. We're about just to explore a little bit. I wanted people to bring in some questions to you, but a very fantastic presentation so far, Wendy, and I wouldn't want to keep you longer than you would wish to. But let's just hear if there are any questions or any texts on the conversation. Common denominator is up in Junkie. well heard and well understood. I'll just keep you for another 2 minutes and then we can let you go. Janat, do you want to unmute yourself, please? Janat's iPhone. People are suddenly shying away tonight. Well, let me go to Musa Rugemwa. Al-Hajj Musa Rugemwa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Hajj Musa. Have people broken off for Maghrib or what? Everybody's gone quiet and shy. Haji Musa Rugemwa, are you there? Subhanallah. Rahma binti Hussein. Rahma? Hello, Rahma. Looks like I've been left to myself now, left to my own elements now this evening. Subhanallah. Isa Makumbi came in a bit late. I was just about to explore a little bit with him. Just Isma, you listening to tonight's conversation, I'm sure. What's your takeaway, especially the situation where? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Awadon Peter Keke.
Wanyi mbadde nkuyitira ddala naye nga mpulira tonyega gy'obadde.
Ndi mu kiyungu.
Okay. No, by tonight's conversation, I'm trying to find out your take. Listening to the conversation tonight. Yes, Rahma.
I'm just enjoying the sisters' conversation, the extra jokes they are doing,
Well, if you had any questions for her, but probably listening into her conversation, what's your take? How did that make?
I think it takes a lot of courage because I've been to London buses, and that particular school run time, those kids, I think you've got to be strong because they are quite intimidating.
Yes.
And to be able to face that as a woman, I praise her for that because I don't think it's an easy job. Just sitting on the bus as a passenger and seeing the behavior of those children.
Yes.
Pathetic.
I used to be a supply teacher. There's a time when I was at the BBC and I was feeling like I wanted to augment my income. So I would do as a supply teacher. If there is a worse job to do, to be a supply teacher. Well, Wendy, thank you very much. Jazakumullahu khairan. If you have to leave, I'll just let you go. But thank you so much. Of course, what I only will PM that we will be watching later on in the conversation. But as a supply teacher, or Ingiramu class, everybody knows that you are there for a short period of time. You do not know them. You basically go into like a slaughterhouse. Oh, it was a thank you to Rahma. It was a thank you to Rahma for the appreciation.
Well done, my sister, for the job.
I just wanted to interject just to bring in the good air supply teacher. abantu bagenda mu Solatu Layli n'ozuuka okusala Solatu Layli nga tusaba jjana. Naye as a supply teacher, you go into Solatu Layli and all you are praying is Allah kutaasa kadde ka 3:15 kavuge osobole okuva mu ssomero. So Rahma, I understand where you come from when you say abaana bajja mu bus n'olabanga, like it's like an invasion. It's a very, very scary prospect.
They're like a swarm of bees. And, they just overtake the whole place, and you're like, my goodness. Does my child behave like this as well when they're out there? It's really unbelievable. But, as a woman, to be able to face that, I praise my sister. She's doing a good job. Let her keep it up. May Allah protect her and, make it easy for her.
Allahumma ameen. Actually, that with the bus drivers and train drivers, especially train driver, does such even bus drivers, the car when they were protecting unless has taken it upon themselves really
they've been, I think I've heard stories, they've been spat at, some horrible things do happen to them. I think it depends. Maybe these days, maybe they've tried to put a bit of protection for them, but I think that protection before wasn't there.
Yeah.
They could easily be reached, but I think when they started doing nasty things to them, punching them, spitting on them, so at least they've tried to put that glass to protect them.
Musa Rugemwa, I can see your hand is up. You can join into the conversation while we are with Rahma here. And Wendy is still listening in. Yes, Haji Musa, salamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Listening into the conversation, I saw you coming in and your own take, yes.
Yeah, mine is a question probably. My question at the back of, as for the bus driver, do you get to, if someone comes in and literally they've got no money and they've got no travel card or bus pass and they just want to come in and travel, what do? Do you report them? Do you just let them in and just ignore and let go?
What's the procedure?
What's the orthodox procedure?
Yes, Wendy.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Speak to Musa Rugemwa.
Sema mwanyinaze Mr. Lugemwa. Kati procedure basically in our inside thing, driver Jaco threatening, I'm not going to move the bus, but we're not allowed to hold the bus or local passenger tasasude. You're not allowed. Now, yet the polite way, you come without a pass, talk to the driver. Some of them are understanding, I've lost my wallet, but I don't have a pass and I need to go home. That driver will let you on and will, when the inspectors come and tell you that the was Agamba, I've got one passenger, talk to me, and I let him in. So driver are irresponsible. However, driver wabatayagala kutwala. Police nebwejja, driver ali in charge of that. Saga logende. Nsobola okulekako omuntu nga tasasudde naye ne sirekaako omuntu ali abusive. And it's a criminal offense. Omwana omutolese buno abaana abataba bali so balalu nnyo. Bajja tebalina zip card naye toyinza muleka olw'okuba talina oyster kubanga if anything happens agabasi gye nabadde nina okulinnya yandese. That's why the gang held me. So if you come without a pass, I can either, before we were giving you credit, network notebook, no sasula when you go home, but those are not being issued anymore. Speak to the driver depending on the mood jom sangam. Ayinza okugamba no. Oyinza okubeera aggressive no gamba, you know what, I can't care less. You have to move the bus at the end of that day. Then I'll press message 5 that fare invader. That goes straight to TFL, and then we drive 2 or 3 stops. You will find revenue inspector at the next stop waiting for you.
Okay. Kayira.
But it's down to the drivers actually because there are times you might end up you've forgotten your pass, you are rushing to get to catch the bus to work. You are stuck, and in that situation, I think it can be actually.
Nendozo omuntu But also you can tell muntu chim to fall genuine.
Don't judge. Twina bargonda bali regular. Before you know what no. Yeah, there is when you cannot even be bothered over they just get on the bus and I start driving. We don't even look at you. Just get on and just start driving. At the end of the day, I'll be paid. I drive an empty bus, I'll be paid. So
but in case when someone inspectors of revenue was in a bus and coming inside the bus, never sang 3, 4, 5 people who have not paid.
Yes.
Is that not your responsibility as a bus driver?
No, it's not. It's not, because they tell you don't create any fight or anything. Just press number 5, that fare invader.
Yes.
Yeah, you just look at them. They don't talk to you. Let them walk. Just tell them fare invader. Then you find the revenue inspector. However, because before they start, they first talk to you. Then I tell them, yeah, there is Mr. Kayira upstairs on the 2nd row. He has an appointment. He spoke to me. His appointment at JW, he was in a rush and I had to let him on. They'll say, okay, that's fine. And then they'll come and they'll ask, is he this one? I say, yeah, that's fine. Thumbs up. Then we continue. That's it.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. I can see Samakumbi's hand is up as well. Samakumbi, go ahead, please.
Hello. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Nice experience. But my question with the drivers, they're still running to the bus. As soon as you're approaching the bus, they drove off. And they leave you. And then enjoy that. Part of their training.
Wendy, is that a stress thing?
Yeah. No. Answer that.
Yes.
When we're being trained, once you indicate, even if you bump, even if you tap on the bus, once I indicate and my eyes zero on the right side, I'm not supposed to do it, to stop, because other road users about the indication that I'm moving. If I cancel that, I'm confusing them. So the best way is to report to TFL, this bus left me. I was running to that bus, make a complaint. They'll come back to the garage. They play, did she indicate before or did she indicate after? Then that's where it goes. But we normally leave you when we've already indicated, or tell us Sango Mulungi will first select wali aduka for a bus before I indicate. I'm catching up my time. I need to be at my break. Once you run, it will be a chain that never ends. But once I indicate, I'm not supposed to open the door again. It's a policy.
Okay, the second question about the red driver.
Yeah.
Dora has left. Dora left.
All right. Okay.
All right. Okay. Margaret is coming here. Well, we are 17 minutes now to the end of the show. Very fantastic conversation so far. Hey, Samakumbi, while you are there, the point is, of course, to extraordinary people, our ladies who have done fantastic work, like sort of going into jobs that are not normal. Now, what instances when we start sharing experiences, it's amazing how much is out there just in terms of, sorry about that, experiences, and we are talking about doing extraordinary things, and I'm sure you have an extraordinary thing to occur. Musa, you have seen your hand, I'll come back to you, Mr. Makumbi. I just want you to think probably with life experience, extraordinary, and I'll share mine while you think about yours probably. Lumunga ngenda nalimva kusomero ndi kubirali. I'm still in secondary school. Mode kusomero, I'm going to Yantonde as usual, but I have to go to Katwe to see my uncle. Then you can get me basi. Okutuka yonga ansanga my cousin. Yali kuleta moroka mpya zino gari mpya. Ngare aine moroka zali nyatano zalese. One of the drivers beina afinye embiro afinye obulwadde obwama who cannot continue to travel. Kakati now until he's stuck and he's on a deadline, he has to deliver the vehicles to Rwanda. Kakati ngomusajja ansaba namuyita Najibu Mungu amsasire yafa. Nanganti why Kassim manyo kuvuga emmoroka, can you help in the situation that is difficult? And he asked me to drive. Nze already now mudde ngenda kufuna funye lift ey'obwerere ng'ate ngenda kuwoomerwa futa. I accepted. Nga ngenda nga tukimala gedi yange nzija nteeka mu mmoroka. But ono driver yafunye okulwala, yaguddemu ekiduumuzi. Yali amaze okuwa omukyala lift ng'alina omukyala ow'olubuto gwawadde lift yamukkiriza okumutwala. Of course, ng'ali omukyala tajja kusigala awo kubanga tebalina buzadde, yabadde amuwaddemu lift. I agreed to remain with this woman mutwale. Yabadde yali agenda Mbirizi ng'amaze okuva ekinoni. So I agreed to take the woman. Woman is fully pregnant. I was unaware of her situation. Omukyala bwe yali ebeedde talina wadde kati kuyambala otuga wasabira lift bwama ali mu mbeereza, yambadde akateeteeyi kali light naye olubuto is fully pregnant. I did not take any issue about it, like I didn't think twice about it. Neetandika okuvuga emmoroka tutuuka ekinoni bali mukola oluguudo bakyakola luguudo awo omukyala ng'ebisa bitabuka agenda okuzaala agenda okunzaalirako. I'm stuck. I'm the one in the driving seat. Nyimiridde ku mabbali g'oluguudo tuli ku highway, we are out of town totally. Nga nyimirira omukyala ng'avaamu. The kind of process I went through, nenzaaza omukyala nga tuli babiri bwe tuti. Ogenda omuzaalisa, I had never done it. I would peep. Bwe baazaazanga jjajja balina abaana baazaalanga awakale babatwala mu lusuku ogenda okulaba babisebisewo obuleesu ebyabakyala beekuŋŋaanya awo ne tulingizalingiza ng'abaana. And to see that now I was coming practically into this particular experience, nenzaaza omukyala oyo. Wallahi, omwana okusala umbilical cord, whatever, things I had never done before, but I managed to do that. And that for me was really a kind of a revelation of sorts. So when I say Makubi, Kakaso was we are just speaking out of the blue, and I'll bring a lot more stories because I have quite a bucket of that.
Nari Koram local authority housing repair. Odia ina muganda wenga ali Canada yenga ali one. Wazana demand. Yaja narabika na kunyanga tarabika. Muganda najja ku simu ku police. Muganda wange ngeza kumkontaktinga tali available. Right off Friday nabangamba ngende ku mugundi jasura. Ngani in charge of that patch. Maintenance office and away what's going on. Tugenda okutuukayo ngenyumba ewunya nnyo ne tuyita police. Twakola mistake. Twajja ne carpet najja gula oluggi. Bwe yaggula oluggi site twamusinga afudde amazenda kunyanga ali mu teemu yafiira ngalaba TV fun enough. Police yatugamba tumbeere wano. We became a suspect. Police amalikola body search. After 3 hours, President Evanga is satisfied nothing fun has taken place. Never travel to government. Yes, if there's anything, you would have been the suspect. Naganti, what really sure never opened up the door. Never, what really sure, call the police. They were tampering up with the door, you become a suspect. And so many people have been pulled up for that. To taking that time.
Yes. Musa
yeah. Charlie had just a question at the back of the other question. One final question, Kuba says.
Yes.
You know, Bas about the commissioning, like what happens to them? And do you, as bus employees, are you given an opportunity to buy these buses? No jigura, no buses.
Uganda negira Kayanja yagitwara agina akisabalizamu abagenda mu church ye Pastor Kayanja. Wendy, please come in. Serious authoritative to answer that question.
That one I can understand to the best of my knowledge. Na isiri sure chemanyi buses company si ezigula nti ki kubanga operating the service it goes with company winning the routes. Katugambe route 25 eva Ilford, Stagecoach operating, ka Stagecoach webe operating after tender, nebala be operating etya, we losing to go ahead, which is another company. Kati whichever route or whichever company winning at that route, TFL eba offering a new buses. Eyinza bagamba ezo buses tuzeetaaga ku electric buses. Muyina space we munaziteeka ka TFL yeba what those brand new buses kati ziri enkadde going back to scrap whatever they do them with it over chicho nachonna naye nga they don't belong to the company nti nga TFL ekuwa ne ziri ebikadde ne biddayo gye babijja.
Wendi nze ndi mukulaba Rugemwa gy'alengera alengedde walaga bannayuganda abeeka bategeera mangu mbadde ndi mukulaba nti possibility it means then the company the organization to contact would be TFL and not the individual companies in case
nina esimu ya
nga driver would there be a conflict of interest to take it because there are people now for example who are repurposing ne bakwata bus ne bagiturning into a hotel like a memorable thing about the bus. Ojukira waliwo bus ndoza number 18 yalina ekijji ky'emmanju kino converting kati ekola mikolo eryambaga bagiteekamu parties and all of that and there might be something along those lines. Wendy, is that something Rugema, have I represented you well?
Very well, spot on.
Yes, because
Siri sure bayinza zijja simanyi Siri sure nze nakayingira mu bus just 7 years ago kakati ezo basi ezemmanyiiko ezenkadde kati ezo zirina kubeera nga basi nkadde nnyo singa bus 2016 plate ezo zibeera sharing service kati ezo simanyi waje baziteeka na what to contact. I wouldn't be sure kubanga right now what I know we're winning a route the TFL supplying her with brand new buses bili ebikadde n'ebikujjako.
Right. Musa Rugemwa tutwaye twogera ku extraordinary people what we DHU'L yakola hijja nsanvu musanvu. I'm sure you've had people who have done extraordinary stuff. Nina abaana nga bebadde ngamba bemmanyi abalera bannaabwe nga bakadde bwe bafudde Mukenenya bwe yajjira nga kijja kyamuyita siriimu abazadde ne bafa bonna omwana n'alera banne ng'ate naye mwana bwana. Those were sort of extraordinary stuff. For example, you look at our mothers, n'olaba omukyala najja single-handedly n'abalera abaana nga 5, 6, 7 and yet tumala okukula n'osanga ate ffe omusanvu tumenyeka ate ogenda omulabirira that one person. I mean, that's kind of extraordinary in a way. Definitely, I think there must be something in your line of work, in the line of life, Josanga, that is extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, yes, quite a lot off the top of my head.
Okay, no problem. While you think through that, let me just bring in Janet. Let me just bring in Janet as you scratch your head. Janet, good evening.
Oh, hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine.
Yes, I'm sure I've seen you been
listening. Can you hear me? Yes.
We can hear you loud and clear. Yes, please.
I just want to give a big clap to our ladies, Wendy and Dora.
Yeah.
Well done. I always see these buses and I'm like, can I really do that? And I said, oh my goodness, I see some girls wearing uniforms or ladies, and they look really young and very, very confident. And it's nice to know that our Ugandan ladies are doing that. And maybe one day I'll enter and recognize her face.
Oh yeah.
One of them.
No, I thought you were going to say that one day you were going to go and drive the bus as well.
Yeah, that is coming up. It is the same like police. I always say I am going to join the police one day.
Yes.
So yeah, there are things that I always want to do. I mean, I have to do before I go 60.
And driving a bus is one of them.
Yes, especially the London buses.
Oh no, Wendy, you are revealing something new. Wendy is saying she was in the police before she became a bus driver. No. I would need to hear that. Is that you, Wendy?
Wow.
Yeah. So Janet, you have got a full reference now regarding this.
Wow. That's something that I always think about, like police. I'm like, I have to do. Nange ni no genda, nange nyambale uniform.
Yes.
And-
Wendy, were you
and I-
in community policing or what?
No, I was
Janet.
I was in
Janet.
community police when nalinga ndi kuyuninga nkola my sorry ngankola my degree in psychology and sociology. So the placement was at the police. Nemala bulungi nnyo nemaliza bulungi nengenda nenkolayo naye because at the time I was in a dysfunctional relationship. That was in 2011. So I'm working behind the counter, an administrator. You do that, you know, banabantu beba booking in, no mujjako ebintu, no wandika, as any wallet, as any sim. So when you're released, they took a interview. So one day came and I was involved in a very bad conversation, like Obakuyombo, Bakurana, I don't even remember, I don't want to disclose that. And it's shown on a CRB of badly as much as you're doing well. So I'm thinking I was covering, it was a maternity cover, and they've promised me a job. Yeah, thank you. I'm known to Munguyina. Then the CRB comes, we had on the 9th of January, 2009, you are involved in this at this place. So they gave me a bunch of flowers and they told me it was nice working with you. And I'm like, okay, I know why this has ended, but yeah, I was there and it was really nice. I had it going. But then after it cleared, they called me back if I want to go back. I'm like, no, I found something better. But I was working at Stratford Police Station.
Janet, you speak to Wendy, please. Wendy.
Yes, Wendy.
Yeah.
Those are the unsung heroes I was going to talk about.
I've got a friend, he's a detective and he's a Ugandan. Na connecting kubanga with these things, Katinga police, your bus driving, you can't go through volunteering. Night police was I want to go in, the bagamba just work one day, go call behind the counter to do admin. So they come every day, but okay, do you want to upgrade that? Do you want to go in community? Do you want us to train you? But just, you know, or enough, you can go through that through the back door. I'll give you the number. Inbox me, I'll give you the number. We meeting face to face, and I talk to him about that. If it's your passion.
Fantastic. Well,
Thank you very
58
much.
minutes past 9 o'clock.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kayira.
Fantastic.
And
Thank
I was
you very
going to
much.
say that we have a lot of unsung heroes. We have
No, I mean, this is why programs like this now are sort of going to start tapping into that, because there's no.
Yes, some of us have paid school fees for children and they have graduated, and those are our children to siblings since we were young. So those are things that are extraordinary. When I see them graduate, have their own families, I am very proud of myself as well.
Fantastic.
Thank
you very much, Janet. That is as far as the USA is saying. You are amazing ladies. Thanks for sharing your experiences. May Allah ease your work. When he's saying Allahumma ameen to that. Right, Joanne, I've been trying to get you to have a word because I haven't seen you in the conversation. It's the first time I've seen you. It looks like you are unable to get on. Haji Yusuf Muguruma, I will have you as the last conversational person tonight, inshallah, because it looks like we've got to 9 o'clock. Haji Muguruma, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Extraordinary people who have done extraordinary things. Ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. Ora Wendy no kuvuga basi twawide dora wotabadde avuga train. That's what I'm experienced. That was really, really nice. And we were trying to explore that. For example, I escaped from Kenya in 1986. By Mama Mukachitange, who was really, really nasty to us. And I think I was only 14 at the time. I managed to escape from Kenya and I see nowadays any ID or anything, all the way from Machakos to Nairobi, cross the border into Uganda and end up in the Antonde, where I had not been before. And it's a story for another day, but it was one of those things that you take to level your deco. So I would want to find out from you, probably, experience yo abantu abakoze ebintu ebitali bya bulijjo.
Ebyange kubanze nina ekyange wawawo kirina ekintu ekira side endala gye kyansuulako. Nali muto, sali muto nnyo kuba byali biseera nga bakajja Kamini. Naye mpuliddeko ku mukyala windi mbadde simanyi nti avuga bbaasi n'obwa poliisi yabukolako weewaawo bwali lunankana alhamdulillah.
Prematurely, yes.
Nze ekyange kino kya happeninga ku nze nali muto kuba byali biseera nga emirimu tegirabika.
Yes.
Nali nvudde mu ssomero biseera byali bya ntalo bajje Kamini. Mutwalo wa Amini nali saido nawo ngeseeta nenkulaakulako ne mu kirombe nga nkuba amataffaali biki ebifaanako ngeri ngono engeri gy'obeerawo. Kaakati bwe nva eyo neefunamu idea gye nalaba kati nzire eka ebintu byagibuze taata n'agamba nti tulina okukola nti migaati naye waliwo
layini yompulire ekyankalanye bwana Muhajji Muguru.
Njagala kufuna muntu amanyi okuzimba ttanuulu ne mugamba taata nsobola ogizimba naye nga with gas nsobola ogikola ki naye nga ntekinga idea y'abantu abawukya amataffaali engeri gye bazimbamu ttanuulu yaabwe. Nenkosa idea eyo nenzimba ttanuulu
nga tokikolangako.
Wallahi nga sikikola nze ne ttanuulu y'amataffaali naye sigizimbangako nga ngira bulayo abagikola ki abagipanga ey'amataffaali. Nenzimba oveni nga yakuteekamu nku nga yakufumba migaati. Wallahi neekola business muzeyine mbiseera ebyo ebyokulya byali bizibu biki ebifaanako ebyo. Nali nga omuntu osobola okuyiiya ekintu kuba nze nange kenyini kyanneewuunyisa ngera nsobola okufumba emigaati gikola ki givaayo. Taata n'aŋŋamba ndi gwe nonkulabye gwe okuva mu buto bwo ogenda kubeera engineer. Kubanga najjamuko balubu nenjijjamu nenjasa nenjisala nenteekamu kabu balubu buno obw'eggaali nenteekako amanda nenkolanga ne switch nga amasannyalaze gawaka nga vuddeko nze ndi ku gange nansanga nankuba emiggo. Ali agamba era n'amasannyalaze gwapangula gw'oli mugezigezi nnyo ogenda kubeera mu ki. Kaakati ekyo kya happeninga nga siroza nsobola kikola ki kyajja mu biseera ebizibu. Emirimu tewali, abantu tebakola, abantu bakava mu ntalo, ebintu naye nga ebyokulya byo biri ku katale. Nkola emigaati kisapulenganga maduuka. Ekyo kye neenyumirizaamu kinakola ki kinafuna mu mbeera ey'okuba sayina idea sayina ki naga nja gizimba nengizimba. Kati buli muntu alina ekintu kyabeerawo n'akyenyumirizaamu ate Mungu n'ansaasira ekyo naga nga buli kintu nkikyokoza. Taata n'antwalako ne mu garagi njiga obwamakanika ne bunnema kubanga nagenda mu garagi yagula ne toolbox namba. Kakati oli yali anjigiriza yantumanga oil gasket nze njagala basumula engine yantuma oil na gasket. Ne mugamba nti nze sajja kugenda kunona oil
najja kuyiga kukanika. Nange mu vacation ya S4 batwala mu garage ngende actually probably got tunawunzikire sawa ndaba zimaze okuwera ne magharibi awamu yatuyiseemu. Batwala mu garage nange ngende njige obwamakanika naye mbandi mu garage. The thing that threw me out of the garage totally mbandi mu garage nakagenda tandise spana nzize kyusa wanojjako mipiira genda ku radiator nga wajja omusirikale he's late now. Major Bwende, he was quite musajja wa matanta nnyo. Ajja yali Minister of Rehabilitation at that time. Ajja ne Mercedes Benz moroka ebugumye atudde n'abaana be mu moroka kati azze mu garage bagikoleko. Gundi musajja yali akanika makanika Medi naye mugenzi Mungu amusaasire ya Rabbi. Antuma nga ati checking nga diete erabika ebugumye. Okwetumiikiriza nti njagala okulaga nti kati ate nze yazze okuyiga. Ngenda nkwata ekisaanikira kya radiator ntandika okisumulula. Omanya amazzi agabeera mu radiator enkuba gye gakuba ekisaanikira. Emmotoka yali egenda kukwata muliro omusajja n'ajja n'akwata emmundu n'agiteeka ku mutwe. nanga iwe stand weno yenda kunyitira bana nanga tekisandikira nkize nga nokwata ekisandikira nkinyweze ku radiator already amazzi gapushinga gayiseemu ganjokya engalo
ate gutyo okufako
ndi mukulwana okusiba ekisandikira siinaako wadde ati siite kubanga bwente ekisandikira kigenda kuba ruufu ya bonnet. My experience with the garage in Navajo Koro Nendaira, and that was the end of it. I never even thought about going after that incident. Actually, it's some of these things sometimes you know to come on whatever. There are times people who have fought battles. Now, one, you know, what having cancer, for example, now in a determination that they are going to get okay.
I know.
They fight and manage to come out of that simply because of the big fight that they put up. Well, thank you very much to everyone who joined us tonight. I thank you for making the time. Inshallah.
Kuyamba ne weezuula n'omanya nti kiki nsobola okukola n'olema kubeera ng'oli wetedi ng'olina ekintu ekisobola okukola ki n'oggyayo obwongo buno okola ki naye alhamdulillah tweyanziza nnyo sheekhe nakuba kasoloti kano okubanga nange ngatta kuba nange ekintu nange
ekyansobola okayingiramu nga kagguka nti osobola okakwatiriza nga kagguka. Thank you very much. So was 8 p.m. to Vera Wano, and we have different topics. Probably, I think I'm just trying to work out what we shall talk about next week, inshallah. Weekend for example, what musajja mwamurabye wo KCC Kampala, a doctor yafudde heart attack ngari Mercedes Benz ya parking zinazikira. One in UK, there are 2 people who have also had near misses, and one of them has died. Kati omu ku musajja akora program gye bayita Homes Under the Hammer watching a BBC. That guy got a heart attack out of nowhere, out of the blue. Naye Mungu n'amusaasira, the people that he was with ne bangwira okuba nti bayise ambulance, but he was insisting that he's fine, he's hoping to be fine. Ne bayita ambulance, and that was the saving grace. In between time where gye basobodde okukola intervention, that happened. In Uganda, we've actually had another 4 instances. There's another doctor, Dr. J.B. Warugembe, ali mu DHU'L right now, a lecturer at Makerere University. Naye yazikidde buzikizi out of the blue. Something is happening, and in Uganda, they're even beginning to tie it. When Uganda wamanyi wagara worokoso, they're already tying it to the vaccines, and vaccines stand so kora kati stand okushure dalu. But probably we might be looking at a health program probably next week, depending on what happens. Inshallah, do not miss next week. Appointment is 8 p.m. Inshallah. This is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, and we were live on 75 W Radio, live on Umma Connect, on YouTube, on Zoom, and on Facebook. Thank you very much for being with us. Hope to see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.